If your 2019 and newer Silverado or Sierra 1500 has any kind of lift or leveling kit on it, then a new set of upper control arms is essential to ensuring that your truck drives the way that it should, both on and off-road. Cognito's ball joint upper control arms give you the extra angle you need, combined with excellent build quality and strength, making these an ideal option for any truck, especially one that will see a bit more off-roading than usual. Proper alignment is the key to having your truck drive and handle well. Now, the dark side of lift kits is that they can throw off your suspension geometry and cause your truck to not drive the way that it should. Now, these control arms here are designed to take the place of your factory units, but the key difference is the increased ball joint angle. So this is going to help account for the additional height in the front end caused by your lift or leveling kit, and allows for that proper alignment and proper suspension travel. You get the right amount of droop and articulation even with the additional height that the lift kit brings, so there won't be any binding when you cut the wheel or go over large obstacles. Now, the ball joints in this kit are heavy duty units that are designed to be maintenance free, and unlike a lot of other upper control arms, these are bolted in, which makes them easily replaceable. The tubular design of the control arms themselves is also very strong, and you've got poly bushings at the pivot points, so these are going to produce a lot less movement and again keep things nice and aligned. And these arms are compatible with trucks that have active ride control, so no matter what options you have, these should work on your truck. The arms are made using a combination of tubular steel and steel plate that is fully welded and finished in this semi-gloss black powder coat for additional corrosion resistance. Now, the ball joint mounts, as you can see, are gusseted for extra strength, and the heavy-duty ball joints themselves bolt in 4 different places. So these should be more than strong enough to handle whatever you can think to throw their way. Those pivot bushings again are polyurethane, and they do come pressed in as you see them here to make installation a breeze. Pricing for the kit comes in at about $600, and that makes these a more premium option within the market. However, the build quality and material quality here are worth the investment, and if your truck is lifted at all, especially if you're planning to take it off-road, it's worth spending a bit extra on a high-quality control arm setup so that you can have that additional peace of mind and make sure that your truck drives the way that it should. Installation gets a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you around 3 hours to complete. Now, these are not terribly difficult to actually fit to the truck. However, you do need to complete some disassembly, and separating those original ball joints can be a bit of a pain if you've never done it before. If you have had to do that before, you know exactly what I'm on about. Now, also, you're gonna have to bolt these in and get them torqued to spec too, but we're gonna walk you through the entire process right now. So for that, let's head on out to the shop.
For this install, you need a 3/8 impact and ratchet, a 1/4 inch ratchet, a hammer, a 21 shallow and deep socket, a 15, 13, 10, and 9mm socket, needle nose pliers, a 21, 19, 18, 14, and 13mm wrench, and the supplied zip ties. All right, today we're gonna be installing an upper control arm on our Silverado. First, we're gonna watch a quick video to get you to this point with our strut out, and then we'll come back here to get our control arm out.
All right, first step here, once you get your wheels out of the way and your vehicle supported up in the air, we're gonna start removing our ABS line bracket. There's one here on the knuckle and one on the upper control arm. Grab a 10mm socket and get those off. Now what I like to do is once you pop that off, I like to just put the bolt back on just so we don't lose it. Just a couple of threads, and then do the one at the top. Next up, we're gonna remove our sway bar end link. Now this is a pretty difficult one. You wanna have a couple of specialty tools here. Not necessarily specialty tools, but specific tools. What you wanna use is an 18mm wrench. Put that on the nut here on the back first. Then you're gonna grab a 1/4 inch ratchet and a 9mm deep socket and hold that stud on the back end. And you're gonna ratchet this guy off like this, instead of ratcheting the nut, just because it's a really tight space. So using the 9mm on the stud itself, you can start to loosen it all the way up and remove it. All right, once you have that nut backed all the way off, pull the end link out of the sway bar, and then I'm just gonna put the nut back on the stud. Next, we're gonna tackle the upper control arm to the knuckle here by removing the 18mm nut. I'm gonna use an 18 ratcheting wrench for this. Now, if it gets to the point where the entire stud is spinning, you can put this guy in there, follow it up with the appropriate size Allen key, and hold that stud steady. right, making life easier here because this is starting to get stuck. We're gonna switch over to a T40 Torx socket, and using my ratchet, we're gonna hold that stud steady and ratchet this guy the rest of the way off. There you go. What I like to do is just take the nut, put it right back on the stud. Next up, switch over to a 21 deep socket and get the tie rod end off. All right, we may need to grab a hammer to knock this guy loose. Once you have that knocked loose, let's pull that guy out. And just like the other ones, I'm gonna put this nut back on. Next up, switch over to a 15 deep socket. We're gonna get the 2 bolts holding the bottom of the strut to the lower control arm off. All right, next up, grab a 14mm ratcheting wrench. We're gonna remove the top 3 nuts holding on the strut here. That's gonna be the last step before the strut comes out. There are 2 right here in the front you can easily see, and 1 deeper in the back, which is difficult to see, but you're just gonna hit these 2 and then repeat for the 1 in the back. Once you break it loose, you can usually get it off by hand. Okay, repeat that for the 1 in the back. All right, from there, pull this guy down and set it aside.
So now we're gonna get our upper control arm out. Now it's nice and simple. It's just 1 bolt on either side. It's a 21mm head, and a 21mm nut. So we're gonna grab a ratchet, a 21mm socket, and our 21mm wrench, and take these both out. We just pop our bolts out and remove our whole control arm. So now we're gonna get our new control arm and get this installed. So we're just gonna slide it over and throw our bolts through now just to hold it in place. Just gotta let that rest there for right now. We're gonna grab 2 of our flat washers. They're gonna go on the outside where our factory nuts will go. You can go ahead and spin them on. We're just gonna grab our ratchet with our 21mm socket and our 21mm wrench and go ahead and tighten that down. So I'm just gonna hold this up a little bit, just kind of getting the angle that we want, because you can't tighten this down with the strut in place. I'm gonna snug everything up. Go ahead and tighten that down. So now we just have to pull on our new ball joint, so they also slip up through the bottom. I have one of our supplied bolts with a flat washer. Gonna put that through the top, and then on the bottom, we're gonna have another flat washer, and then our nut. Go ahead and thread that on. Go ahead and do the same thing in the other 3 spots. All right, now we can grab our ratchet and 13mm socket and 13mm wrench and go ahead and tighten all those down. So now we'll get our factory strut and get that back in place. Just gonna rest that up through here and just onto our lower control arm, just like so. So now we're gonna get our bottom bolts in our strut here. Now you would have your factory bolts going up through the bottom with your nuts that would be attached to the strut. We don't have that anymore. Ours are broken, so we just are nut and bolting ours. But we're just gonna slide those through. Need to just lift up a little bit, get the right angle. Give them a little tap. And we'll just thread on our nuts on the bottom here. Then we're going to go ahead and grab our impact with our 15mm socket, and we have a 17mm wrench to hold the head, but you just have your 15. Now we're going to get our upper strut through our top hat here. You might need to lift up on your control arm get everything in place. Get our nut started. We can go ahead and get our other two started, and then we can grab our 14mm ratcheting wrench and go ahead and tighten them down. Now we're gonna get our upper control arm into our knuckle, so let's line everything up. Then go ahead and we have a flat washer and then our castle nut, get those threaded on. Now we're gonna grab a 19mm ratcheting wrench and go ahead and tighten that down. All right, after we have that tightened down, just line up your hole for your cotter pin in your castle nut. You're gonna send that through. And go ahead and grab a pair of needle nose pliers and just bend that back. Now we're gonna get our sway bar link into our sway bar. So just line up like so. We'll thread on our nut. And we'll grab our 18mm wrench and our 1/4" ratchet with our 9mm socket and tighten that down. Now we just have to put our tie rod back in our knuckle, slide that in place, thread our nut on, and then grab our impact and 21mm socket and tighten that down. So we just have our wiring harness that we have to secure left. So we have our 110mm bolt that we're gonna reinstall on our knuckle. Grab your ratchet and socket and tighten that down. And then for our top one here, now there is no more mounting point for the 10mm bolt. So we're gonna take one of our supplied zip ties and just zip tie this to our upper control arm here. Now once you have this side all secured and put back together, you can go ahead and repeat those same steps on the other side of the truck. And that wraps up our install of our Cognito Motorsports ball joint upper control arms for our 2019 and newer Silverado 1500. And remember, for everything Silverado, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.